Hello, everybody. We're very excited for the next installment in our series where we partner with state guilds to take a closer look and dive into their current successes, challenges, and state level trends. So often we have a strong pulse on what's going on in our home states and even on the national level. And we hope these conversations can offer you as valuable insights into what your next door neighbors and not so nearby states are facing. And today, we are talking Arizona. So let's meet the Arizona craft beer people. I love how the three of you are in one frame right now.
Yeah, we like getting together and seeing each other personally. It's pretty wild concept, but we do have that opportunity sometimes.
So Andrew, you're already talking, so I'm going to let you lead off. Tell us about what you do in the world of Arizona beer, but more importantly, where are you all hanging out right now?
Sure. We are at Ryan's Brewery here. This is 8-Bit Aleworks. We are in Avondale, Arizona, and Ryan's been around a long time, but I'll let him get into that. I am the executive director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I have been a full-time employee of the Guild for 4 years now. Prior to that, I was a professional brewer for 10 years. And before that, I owned and managed restaurants. So it's pretty great to be fully immersed in the beer community, and I love it.
I think you and I have kind of randomly been in touch for probably about 7 or 8 years now, and it's been too long since we've had beer, so we'll have to make that happen again, hopefully, this year.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Ryan, you're up.
All right, I'm Ryan Whitten. My wife and I own 8-Bit Aleworks. We're going on our 11-year anniversary, which is insane that it's been that long. I'm actually an Avondale native, which is why we opened up just outside of Phoenix here. I grew up 2 miles north of the brewery. I live 2 miles south. I'm about as local as you get.
How far are you from your childhood home?
2 miles.
And so people in Arizona, are most people transplants, or do you see a lot of people like yourself stay in the state?
Most people are transplants.
So what do you love
both my
most?
wife and I are natives, though, which is kind of unusual.
What do you love most about the area that's kept you there?
So I love Avondale. It's still got kind of a small town like farm feel, but we're still really, really close to everything. So like I don't have to drive a half hour to the grocery store. Downtown Phoenix is 15 minutes out of the way, and it's just this side of the valley is a little bit slower and more laid back pace, which is more my pace.
So I have to be honest now, I'm pretty well traveled, but I've only been in the airport in Arizona. So I really, really need to come out you all's way.
You are missing out, man.
I know, I really do need to make it out. Now,
Although
Mitch,
we do have 5 breweries in the airport right now, and another one that is supposed to be opening in the airport. So you can get a pretty good feel for Arizona beer if you
just go to 5 breweries have locations in the airport.
Right? Isn't that wild?
We're gonna dive into that more in just a minute because I've never heard of that. That's super cool. But Mitch, we're gonna meet you first.
Nice to meet you guys. I'm Mitchell Penney. I am also an Arizona native. I was born in the town adjacent, Tolleson. I've been a restaurateur out here, whether serving, bartending, or managing for almost 20 years now. I'm running a tap house nearby. We have 80 beers on draft, solid food options. I'm a big fan of our beer. My wife is also an Arizona native. We are kind of super rare out here with like these guys. And it's just really fun to see the growth. I feel the same. I love the small town feel that you get on this side of town with the prospect of being able to get anywhere in 20, 45 minutes all over Phoenix. So I love it out here. I was living in Vegas, moved back down here to take over this role, and I missed home. It's a good spot to be.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you today. Now, Andrew, with the Guild, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. I want to learn more just about Arizona beer. How many breweries are in the state? About when did you see it kind of have that sudden growth we saw all across the country? Like, give us a little history.
Sure. When the Guild started in the year 2000, we had 8 breweries in the Guild. When we had our full-time executive director come on board in 2012, there were 25, and it really exploded in 2017, 2018. We currently have 98 brewing companies, In Arizona, we have the opportunity to open multiple retail locations. So there are 163 buildings that our 98 breweries occupy, serve from, welcome guests into. So that's a pretty cool thing.
That's a cool stat. And out of those buildings that are, I guess, occupied, how many of those are actually production breweries versus maybe second locations that could be just serving that brewery's beer on tap?
There are 117 buildings in Arizona that brew beer.
I love how you know these stats.
Yes, I made sure I had them all.
So like you, because when we first connected, you were on the brewery side of things.
Right.
Why did you want to come and take on the role at the Guild?
So I started at my first brewing job was the head brewer for a brewery that opened in downtown Chandler called The Perch. I had never worked in a brewery, and they had never owned a restaurant. So naturally, the only best things could happen. So that is what happened. And I was there for 3 years. And I moved to Uncle Bear's, a larger brewery. We had some distribution. We were canning and distributing across the state. So that seemed like something exciting. And it was. And we got through COVID. And I just decided that I was ready to leave that kind of space of being in retail a lot, because I was also managing the tap room and all of our social media for Uncle Bear's Brewery. So I decided to depart, and a month later, an opportunity came up with the Guild, and here we are.
Awesome. I mean, they have good leadership. So glad you're at the Guild. Glad hard to believe you've been there 4 years now.
Yeah, 4 years and 2 weeks.
So, Ryan, you mentioned that you all are about to celebrate your 11th anniversary. So, first off, that's amazing. Congrats. But, I mean, just based off what Andrew said about the evolution of Arizona beer, talk to me about 2016 versus 2026. What are some of the observations you've made?
Yeah, so one of those, everything is definitely evolving a lot. I feel like back in 2015, 16, 17, honestly, you could open a door and slap brewing, brewery, aleworks, whatever you want on the bottom of the door, and you could print money. It didn't matter if you had good beer, bad beer, business sense, knew how to market. And as time has progressed, it's definitely hitting the point where, like, you better be able to make good beer. You better have at least slight business sense. I have just enough to stay afloat, and that's it. And then you definitely have to focus in on your marketing, your customer service, just to make sure that you're kind of keeping everything running.
And you've found that, over the years as breweries have grown in Arizona, are you seeing more breweries kind of lean into doing certain things? I mean, your brewery's 8-Bit Aleworks, I imagine. Well, actually, you described the experience. Like, we come to your tap room, what are we going to feel while we're there?
Yeah, so we definitely focus on a smaller tap room experience. We are very much, even 11 years in, still a mom and pop. So I brew all the beer. My wife, Christina, and I run the tasting room with the help of one full-timer that will help me can in the back, a couple of random part-timers and some contractors. But pretty much we treat this place as almost an extension of our home. As you can see, we have no sense when it comes to decorating. We just slap stuff up, which also kind of helps with the home feel. But very tight-knit, very welcoming community. I think one of my favorite things that I didn't even realize until a few years ago when somebody brought it up is we see the full swatch of people come through here. Young, old, every race, every belief, everybody comes through and they all just get along, which is nice because a lot of times you get that many different people and someone's going to side-eye somebody or say something stupid. And it's nice. We just don't have to deal with that.
You're lucky. And that's the best thing about tap rooms, that sense of community when your guests start hanging out with your other guests and everybody's having a blast. So, Mitch, talk to me a little bit. You've been in the industry quite some bit. How has the industry changed the past decade from your point of view?
I think the customer knowledge has elevated, right? So I echo what he said in the 2013 to 2017 range when I was bartending and just stepping into the management world. you could just give a customer whatever. You know, they were very willing to try new things. And as we progress towards 2026, you're seeing a little more kind of a kickback to comfort and reliability instead of being so adventurous. You know, trying the one-off beers, you know, advantage of working with a little bit of Beer Zombie and brew fantastic beers up in Vegas. But I watched the pattern of some of the beers I had on draft going back to, you know, some of the Cali squeezes, some of the safe. Man, I really like that what you're doing, but I'm gonna go ahead and go back to my.
Wait, what's that phrase you just used? You said Cali squeeze?
He's the East Coast.
Oh,
yeah. So this is why we have these conversations. We don't use that. Tell me about it.
It's a Firestone Walker Brewery. It's a fantastic beer. It's a grapefruit forward IPA. I'm seeing a lot of the fruited IPAs making a pretty heavy comeback in my retail location. Just watching the market trends, and it's going back to that. I'll try something new here and there, but I want to stay in my comfort zone right now because a little more sustainability.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Firestone Walker, just never had that one. I'll definitely have to be on the lookout for it. So you mentioned like changes in like the trends and the brewing trends. Like Ryan, from your perspective, like how has your brewing lineup changed over the years? I mean, I imagine when you first launched, it was the very traditional stuff we all saw when breweries opened, or maybe I'm wrong, but like, you know, what does that look like then versus what you see selling now?
I see Andrew starting to laugh at me. So we opened with 4 fairly normal flagships, but accidentally within probably 3 to 6 months, my MO very much became throwing weird stuff in beer and just making it work. If you can name it, it has gone into one of my beers in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, top 3, we'll not say weird, we'll say unique things you put in the kettle or the beer.
Garlic. We did a garlic goes that only worked on one version of the goes because it had just slightly smoked due to an error with the old system. And it just worked when it shouldn't have. We also used black garlic and dried mission figs in a stout this past year that was ridiculously good.
Off the chain, let's be honest. It was wild.
Man, what else? I've got special infusion cakes. So like I've thrown cinnamon rolls in there. I've thrown red velvet cakes into stuff. Twinkies, ding dongs, cookies, any type of citrus you can imagine. The whole swatch. Most of those are small batches. Our big batches stay a little bit less risky and more shelf stable, but.
So are you seeing your guests still want those experimental type brews, or just kind of what Mitch said, going back to more traditional stuff like the Cali Squeeze, for example, that I just learned about? So like, what are you seeing?
So I'm seeing pretty much if it's on the lower ABV side, it doesn't matter what kind of weird stuff I throw in there. I'm seeing my higher ABV stuff slow way down. My imperial stouts, my barrel-aged beers. We do some very high alcohol fruited beers, and even those are kind of slowing down. And I'm not sure if they're slowing down from people wanting to wheel back the ABV, or if it's just, let's face it, higher ABV, there's a higher cost for it. So I don't quite know where that's fallen.
Yeah. So Andrew, looking at just all the breweries you interact with in a whole, like big picture, what types of brewing trends are you seeing?
We have some more. We still have breweries opening here. We've had a few close in the last year, but we're still having an equal number open. Today, when I was going through the license list at our Department of Liquor Licenses, I discovered 2 new breweries. Heavy Metal Brewing in Bullhead City just opened.
Shout out Heavy Metal.
Yeah. They're a transplant from the Pacific Northwest. And we have Mile High Brewing opening in Prescott, and they're going to be opening in the next couple weeks. So one of the trends that we're really seeing is additional locations right now. A lot of our breweries are the ones that have already gotten to this point are opening additional tap rooms. Getting into distribution, we don't have a lot of breweries that, in fact, we have almost no breweries that distribute out of state, with just a couple little with just a couple that go into very limited distribution out of state. So we don't have the problems that a lot of the California and Colorado breweries have, that send beer everywhere, and they're struggling now to keep those additional revenue sources open as people kind of tone down on their spending and really do reach out for those local breweries and ones that they know the story, right? So if you send beer out of state, it's so much more difficult to get your story out and really connect. So that's something that our breweries aren't as concerned with. They're really leaning into that neighborhood feel. Even coming back to one that's opening, Greenwood is opening another tap room in downtown Chandler. And much like Ryan, she's saying this new tap room is going to be 4 miles from my childhood home where I grew up. So really, that's the trend for us, is additional locations for existing breweries, plus some small brewery tap rooms opening.
That's exciting. So kind of for the three of you, why do you think breweries are being intentional with not distributing out of state? Any theories on that?
Oh, absolutely. The cost of going state to state is exponential. As soon as you cross state lines, that keg cost elevates the cost of kegging. The kegs alone have gone up. Supply issues were pretty predominant last year. Even, as a purchaser, I would hope one week that it would be in stock or be in contact with one of my local distros of, hey, when is this truck coming in? Because I'm keeping this on my tap list, but if it's not gonna, I'm gonna have to rotate out, which in turn we leaned heavily into our local draft to replace that issue. So we could have that reliability that, hey, my guests like this beer. I want to know it's going to be here.
And Ryan,
yeah, the expense of being in distribution at all is something that a lot of our breweries some of them have dipped their toe in it and said, you know what, it's not for me. We've had a few breweries that have pulled out of even local distribution for the reason of, I can sell this beer at my tap room, not have to make extra, not have to pay for all the packaging costs. Everyone likes to have, as you can see from Ryan's here, like Ryan's not in distribution, but he's got a fully stocked can fridge that his customers can pick up here and take home. So they're not getting completely out of packaging. They just say, let's look at a more efficient way of getting this beer out to consumers. And the out-of-state stuff, no one's even talking about trying to do that. And we have seen some breweries pull back from distribution to really focus more on their local sales.
I like, Ryan, how you described you want your place to almost feel like a living room where people feel welcome. They come from all walks of life, which is amazing. But my question is kind of like, you've got guests who are coming to your businesses right now, but how are you educating the general public, the people who may not be too beer savvy, about why they should be supporting all these great Arizona breweries? Like, what's working? What have you tried? I'd love to learn about those initiatives.
Yeah, so a lot of ours, because of our unique theming, I can actually reach a much different audience. As of the past couple of years, we've been sponsors at Phoenix Fan Fusion, which is pretty much Phoenix's version of Comic-Con. So very large people that are completely new to craft beer that will try us because of the theme. And one of our flagships is, we call it a wit, but it falls somewhere between a wit, a white ale, and a cream ale. It'll never win a beer award because it tastes like everything fizzy and yellow. And we jokingly call that our gateway beer. And that's what we use to introduce people that come to us because of the theme. We get them started out with that beer. After 3 to 6 months of coming in, they're like, oh, wow, I can come in and hang out and chat with somebody or be left alone if I want, or, whatever. Then hey, try this session IPA. And, a couple months later, try this pumpkin mocha latte imperial stout.
Then you're like, I put garlic in a beer, drink it.
Yeah, and it hits the point where they're like, for our anniversary, we start listing all the weird beers on our fridge. And people start getting giddy for a solid month. Ooh, I can't wait to try the one with X in it.
Yeah.
So I guess while we're talking about ingredients again, Ryan, you're probably the right person for this. Are there any ingredients grown or native to Arizona that you all see appear in beers? I know some states have blueberries, some states have peaches. I didn't know if there's anything Arizona specific that you all latch on to.
Yep. So citrus is our big thing. We actually partner really closely with a local citrus farmer that is on an experimental citrus ranch with a couple hundred different types of citrus out there that almost always find their way into our beer. Stuff like lime quats that are a fusion of a lime and a kumquat, for example.
What was the name of that beer? I know you got to go and that you put that in.
That one just went into a small batch because I can't get it. Like, it won't stay shelf stable the way we have to do it with the rinds. Man, I've used lime quats a dozen times and cannot remember any of the beer names. We do use, though, right behind me, we've got cans. He has a lime leaf tree that is typically used in Thai cooking. And we actually go and fresh pick those leaves and put them into an IPA. And they act as a different type of hop. They add kind of a tutti fruity, fruity pebbles, almost grapefruit pith, somewhere in between, flavor into the beer that's very unique.
It is fantastic, by the way. I've had a few samples of it. It is very, very good.
Cool.
So, Mitch, I imagine at Parry's, you're getting beer people in there, but you're probably just getting regular people who just want some pizza and maybe a beer there. Like, what's working or what are you all doing to try to get the people just coming in for dinner to drink Arizona beer?
So I'm kind of blessed with having 80 taps. I've kind of got something for everybody. And I have fortunately, I have a few bartenders on that'll help educate you and push you in. We've been there now 4 years, or moving on to our 4th year. And we've created this kind of eclectic group of people that come together and try different things. I do beer events almost weekly or every other week with either a local or a larger account, like shout out Scott Brewing. Got one coming up in 2 weeks. I don't know where I was going with that. My brain
no, I think you made it there.
Yeah. What I'm seeing is, like I said, the comfort's always huge, but after the 3rd or 4th visit, people start seeing like, oh man, what is that beer? Or, I encourage my staff to, hey, you see them drinking this, ultra or this, mainstream Albertsons beer. We encourage breaking the mold, trying something a little more craft. Even if it's a 805 cerveza, something that is not just a day-to-day drinker. We really want them to feel like they can have something new and still stay in their wheelhouse of something they like.
That's good to know. Now, Andrew, I want you to talk big picture, the entire state. You've got people who already are savvy to Arizona craft brewery. But what about everybody who's not? Like, how are you reaching them and getting them in your ecosystem?
Well, I'm going to just kick a couple things in on ingredients. We do have a lot of prickly pear beers around here. Like, prickly pear is kind of an Arizona thing, and we do a lot of prickly pear beers. Every brewery does one a year, I think. We also have a couple of craft maltsters. So we have Sinagua Malt up north, and then we have R&D Malting Company that is kind of just getting rolling. But we do have those local grains available as well. We don't have hops locally, just not the right weather. Arizona has every climate. Like right now, Flagstaff is getting dumped on with snow, like destroyed. So that's pretty exciting. And then we have our warm weather down here. But when it comes to hops, they're so specific on their water needs that it's just not our thing. So the overall view of how do we get people that aren't really into craft beer into craft beer. That's something that we really have worked on as a guild for 7 or 8 years. Like the mantra was, we're looking for people not like us. The guild would do collaborative projects with malls. We would have a new store opening and have 2 or 3 breweries there just sampling. And that was our attempt to really reach out. In this, like right now, like many people, we are really focusing on, as far as marketing our breweries through our social media and through our craft beer events, we're really kind of focusing back on our fans more than we are looking for, let's try and convert a cocktail drinker or a wine drinker into beer. We're letting them have friends convert them and we're providing a space. So at Arizona Strong Beer Fest on Saturday, we had cocktails, we had non-alc beers, we had even fruit juices, fresh Arizona fruit juices. We have, and then of course we had a ton of beer. But I think our breweries really, one of our upcoming goals is to be able to have cider in our breweries. That's something that consumers want, that our members want. We have a lot of legislative pushback on that, but that's a whole different story. When we get into education, it is mostly at our events where we are meeting consumers face to face.
So talk to me a little bit more about the festival you just had. It was on Valentine's Day, right?
It's always the Saturday after Super Bowl. And that this year it was on Valentine's Day. We had a chapel with an Elvis impersonator doing weddings. We had three couples get married.
Whoa.
11 years ago, it landed on Valentine's Day, and we had a couple that got married. It was actually a competition. There were 10 couples that all came in and did interviews and all kinds of stuff. And the people that got married at that one actually were at the event this year. So that was pretty cool.
Did they renew their vows? I feel like if they didn't, it may have been a missed opportunity, but I'm not mad at you.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
And then we have live amateur wrestling. We had a beer bike. So imagine having 12 of your friends on this bike that just travels around the event for about 15 minutes. And then we had silent disco. We had mariachis. We really leaned into the Arizona of it because February 14th is also Arizona's birthday. So we had 120 total beverage suppliers, and 60 of them were from Arizona. So that's something that I'm really excited about, that we had such a large number of Arizona breweries there. And yeah, love that.
So looking at your festival, did you have all these attractions and other things outside of beer in previous versions, or have you had to add all of this to kind of keep the attendance, going in a positive direction?
It does change every year what we have. We've all, like the wrestling, I think is going on year 5 now. So that's not brand new, but people really love it. And the other things kind of change. This year was the first time we had mariachis. We always have DJs. We've had silent disco before. The bus was new. The chapel was obviously a one-off, but we do understand that just throwing tents up in a field isn't going to attract a whole lot of people to come to an event for 4 hours. Like when Arizona Strong Beer Fest started in 25, this is our 25th year. When it started, it was really small. And people didn't know craft beer. Now, I feel like the idea of craft beer is everywhere. It's on the news almost every day. People see craft beer. They're not just getting introduced to it like it was even in 2017, 2018. Our largest attended Arizona Strong Beer was in 2017. And
I'm curious about how many people now, if you're able to share that number.
That was 10,000.
Wow.
And we're at 3,000 now.
Yeah.
So that was the peak. And there are a lot of things that have changed over that time. But, we understand that the market changes and what people want in a festival. Also, we have to be aware of that and react to what people actually want to do.
No, thank you for sharing all that. And Ryan, I imagine you participate in some of these festivals throughout the year. Is that fair to assume?
Yeah, not a ton, just because we are so small. So we'll miss festivals because we don't have staffing for the tasting room. Somebody will be sick or out of town. It's like, all right, well, it's going to take 1 or 2 of us for the tasting room. I need 2 or 3 for, nope, guess I can't do that festival. But we do them whenever we can.
So the other festivals on the lineup you all have, you mentioned Arizona Strong Beer. You have Baja Beer Festival. You have Real Wild and Woody. Ryan, do you participate in any of the other ones? Or even Mitch, what do you love about these events?
Yeah, so we typically will do Barrels, Bottles, and Brews, which is in November, just because that's a little bit easier staffing, smaller festival. And honestly, they spoil brewers rotten. So we'll do ones that pop up in the west side of the valley. So the valley is very segmented. And because we're so small, a festival 50 miles away isn't going to drive traffic to me. So normally that will be a lower priority for me. Not always, but normally.
So these days, like, what are your goals when you go participate in the festival?
So my goals are to get our brand out there a little bit, but mainly try to drive people into our tasting room. We are getting ready to start doing some very, very limited distribution. And at that point, it will be festival. Like if I've got a cluster of accounts near where a festival is going to be, then it will be definitely attending that festival just to try to send them into my account so my accounts buy more beer.
Makes sense. And you send them to Mitch's place, right?
Yeah, he's 3 miles away from us.
Yeah, about 3 miles, yeah.
So Mitch, like, you know, the guild puts on quite a few festivals. Like, do you ever go to them as a consumer? And if so, like, what do you love and how do they kind of play into your world?
So I was supposed to go this year. Valentine's Day is actually my birthday too, so I had a plan to go.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I was supposed to go to Strong Beer, but I woke up not feeling super great. So I skipped out this year, but I have gone several times, many times. 2017 I was there, and it was like going to a country music fest. It was insane. It was awesome.
In that one, we even had like the elevated security tower.
Yep. The Eye of Sauron, man.
Right.
So as a retailer, I work with our distros heavily, right? And they come in, we start planning back in October, November. You know, what are we going to do to kind of go run along with Arizona Beer Week, whether it's discounts, promos, just to gain more attention towards it. Specifically, Crescent Crown does a great job. We start marketing it in October, November, because it is that big of a deal. And, you know, we try to watch what's selling well, what's hitting the market, so we can kind of have options that you're going to see there and come back and partake in our store as well. But as a consumer, it's trying something new, meeting like-minded people. You know, that's why I love coming over here as a consumer. You know, we geek out over, oh, dude, the black garlic in the beer. I was losing my mind. I'm like, I can't wait. Like I can't even picture this flavor. But it's given. It is really just connecting with those that want to just really experience beer, learn about it, educate themselves, educate each other. It's more of a lifestyle for me on that aspect.
One thing that I talked with someone about at the festival on Saturday was this is the event where we get more of the brewers coming out. So do we have maybe 25 beer festivals in this state throughout the year? Yeah. Our state, everything is outside. Okay. Like we do not do indoor festivals. I literally can tell you one.
How often does it rain in Arizona?
What's that?
How often does it rain?
Like four times maybe.
Yeah.
No.
So you're like 4 times. Like, so you're pretty safe.
4 times. That's it. It's raining right now, which is ironic. But at Arizona Strong, the brewers come out. Not just salespeople, not just they have like random volunteers come out and pour beer. For this event specifically, the brewers want to go and be there and see all their friends that are at other breweries. And we know how breweries go. Like people go from one to another one and they're brewing here and then they move to a different one and they get to see everybody. And really that's the best opportunity to connect with their consumers because the consumers are going to be there and the actual brewers are going to be there. The owners are going to be there. It's just a different feel from a lot of the other events, which are, big parties. And this is also a big party, but if you're really into beer, that's where you go. And maybe next year you can come. Who knows? It'll be the Saturday after the Super Bowl.
No, I love that you get the brewers out for that one. Is that always been part of that event's culture? Or how have you kind of grown?
Yeah. When we were at those 2017, 2018 days, we had brewers from Colorado and California, like tens of breweries would send out their staff to be at that event. It's something really special.
Cool. Now, Mitch, I believe you're the one who mentioned it, but I'm curious from all of you, Arizona Craft Beer Week. What happens during that week?
That's right now, actually.
Yeah.
Well, happy Arizona Craft Beer Week.
Yeah.
So what's going on this week, guys?
You guys.
Well, for us, I do a heavy disc. Although we dropped the price to like happy hour pricing all month long, just to correlate. We used to just do it for a week, but it's all only local drafts, really drawing attention to our local partners, just to get a little more education out there. Like I said, on the local breweries, and 70% of my draft system right now is local. So it just gives you a value price point to have the opportunity to try something that you may not when it's a little higher price point.
And then we do all kinds of just random zany events for it. Again, kind of sticking with our theming. We did Yard Game Olympics a couple weeks ago, closed off the parking lot, did giant yard games, awarded medals, that sort of thing. For Valentine's Day, we did a beer and Chinese food tasting dinner, teamed up with a local food truck. That was my wife and I's old Valentine's Day tradition. Yesterday, we did probably our most unique event of the year, which is we call it the Boss Battle. So we pretty much have each one of our seasonal beers have a fictional boss monster from a video game. And we had people come in and fight them by rolling dice every time they made an order. And then they get all kinds of random prizes, loot, everything from the really cool to the really dumb.
And we see around lots, distributors will do tap takeovers at bars. I had one new local tap room, Narwhal, that did a pretzel necklace making party on Friday before Arizona Strong Beer Fest. So they had a bunch of breweries and their reps came in, gave away swag, and customers could make their own beer necklace, pretzel necklace for the beer fest.
That sounds like a tasty and a great way to prepare for the beer festival.
A
So
lot of
going-
breweries. I mean, Ryan's doing beer and donuts.
Yeah, beer and donuts on Saturday.
All the pairings you're doing, Ryan, sound delicious.
We're doing slot car racing with, I believe it's Huss Brewery tomorrow. So one of our reps is going to come out. We're going to have customers compete against each other in little slot cars and hopefully win a beer.
And there's beer dinners out there, which is still a thing. Huss puts on a golf tournament. I think that's today.
Is that today?
I'm sorry, it's raining.
Yeah. Oh, poor Elias.
Oh boy.
So for you all, I mean, a decade ago, arguably most places of the country, it was that if you brew it, they will come mentality. Ryan, I think you alluded to that. And you all just mentioned so many unique activations to get people to come out. Are you seeing that doing more than beer is necessary as we are kind of in other places? Is that why? Or is there just, Ryan, you're not in your head. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Regardless, they're fun to put on, but it is definitely one of those, like, honestly, ever since 2020, now that so many people are working from home, there's not the timestamp of, okay, cool, it's a Friday at 5, it's time to go have a couple of drinks after work. So many people are still working at home that you need a reason to try to draw them out now, as opposed to, I just got off work, I'm going to go have a beer. Like, most of them are probably having beers while they're working from home.
Jealous.
Same.
Yeah. I recognize, like I said, I can echo that too. Just seeing our happy hour culture took a dive for a few years. It's shifting back. We're seeing a little more trending back into the happy hour hours, but there was a time period where that window was reliably full all the time it trailed off significantly. So, and I think that is just to his point, everybody was working from home significant amount were.
So, Andrew, I want to kind of go back to engaging more with your brewers, your community of beer people. You do a beer awards. How excited do people get for that? And tell us about the history of it and what people expect when they come to it.
The Arizona Craft Beer Awards, we're on year 4. It started right when I got in. Phoenix Magazine wanted to put on an event, wanted to put on a beer festival and work with us on it, and said, could we do a competition? And that first year, I think we had about 75 entries. The second year we had 140. Last year we had 240. So it's been going great. Our members really like it. Breweries love getting awards, that's for sure. And the more we have, the longer it goes, the more experienced our judges become, and the better our breweries get at entering competitions. It is not easy to decide which category a beer goes into. Whether it even,
but anyways.
I mean, and any beer could fit multiple categories. So playing that game of which one's going to have more entries, or do I really want to plant my flag as West Coast IPA when it could be in, a few different categories that might not have as much competition. Sometimes breweries just say, nope, I want this, or I don't really care. So we've seen that event, the awards that we put on, is really fun. We had it at the Historic Museum 2 years, and this year we had it in a conference / special event space in downtown Mesa that was recently renovated. It was super cool. And it's kind of like our office party. We don't invite the public to it at this point. We have only breweries. Everyone brings their own beer. It's like a bottle share, and people just hang out and talk afterwards. So that's one of the nicer things about that whole event, is we all get to celebrate together. We have the festival that Phoenix Magazine puts on. We help them with that. They comboed it with another event last year. There's been some changes in their event division of their organization, and they didn't find that it really hit what they wanted to do, nor did it hit what our breweries wanted to see. So we're going to go back to having a standalone event for the Arizona Craft Beer Awards Festival this year.
So Andrew, what are the other goals of the guild right now? Are there any weird laws you're fighting to change, or anything you're working towards just to make life easier for all your brewers? Talk to me about what you're working towards at the moment.
Our laws in Arizona are really good. It came from having brewery interaction and having a clear legislative agenda that made almost everything legal in Arizona. So we can self-distribute, we can deliver to consumers, we can do a lot. And our breweries can have up to 7 licenses. So they can have up to 7 off-site tap rooms. They do have to get the license for it, but in many states, you cannot have another license if you have a production facility. So we're very happy about that. As far as our future goals, we talked about wanting to get our breweries able to serve Arizona wine and cider and potentially spirits. That would be a very big goal, because there are many players in the industry who wouldn't really want to see that. I don't think that the bar owners really think that's a great thing for their business. Also, our distributors tend to really shy away from giving more rights to breweries. They're not antagonistic in any way. We have a great relationship with our distributor partners, but they do want to respect the system, I think, is what they would say. Hey, look, it's a 3-tier system. You guys already have your hands in all the tiers. We don't really feel comfortable giving you more rights in that way. But time will tell, and relationships mean everything. So we continue working with our legislative partners and our industry partners to see if we can get that into our breweries. A lot of people ask about franchise law. And that's something that's, for Arizona, wine and spirits do not have franchise, and beer does. And we've worked on changing that in the past, but I honestly don't get a lot of requests for that from our members, simply because you either get to pick A or B. It's not like we have a big ecosystem of 15 different distributors that are offering different opportunities to breweries. You get the AB network or you get the Miller Coors network. And then we do have one relatively niche, but widely distributed other distribution company that could carry some weight. Unfortunately, they don't really do merchandising, so beer doesn't stay on the shelves over weekends in our grocery stores. And 85% of the beer in Arizona is sold through grocery stores. That has been coming down. Actually, I misquoted that. It is now 76. It's gone from 85.
Did it just change like as we were having this conversation?
Yeah, it's changed over the last few years, and ha ha ha.
You're so good with the numbers and information, Andrew. And you're so good at putting information out too, because the Guild has their own podcast. You all have Arizona Beer Frontier. And just humor me while I read the quick description you have on your website. It says, providing access to breweries, beer policy, legislation, and beer culture that no other pod can offer. Dramatic. So I think it's awesome you have a podcast for the Guild, but what goes on your episodes? Is it reaching the beer people in the industry already? Is it designed for consumers? Like, who's listening? What do you talk about? Give me some examples.
It's really designed for consumers and industry, and I am shocked at the response we get. I did a podcast with Brad from Arizona Wilderness, and at the Arizona Strong Beer Fest, we released it the week before. He said, I've gotten so many phone calls of people congratulating me for that podcast. I thought, oh, okay. I don't get phone calls like that, but that's cool. It really, sometimes we do one-on-ones with breweries. Sometimes we bring in our attorney for the Guild and we go over legislative things, which happens more often. In fact, that's the next recording we're doing is with Camilla, and we're going to be discussing what's happening in the legislature, which this year is not too much. There's just, there's always new things happening. They're revising rules for our licenses this year at the department. So that's a whole separate thing from the legislative agenda where things can change dramatically if we're not aware of these things happening. So just keeping our eye on the ball. We also will just talk about what was our beer trip, what has happened in the last week that made us think about beer, and which breweries have we visited, what were the things that we're hearing on the streets.
No, I love it. I love that you have the podcast. It's fun to do. It's fun to connect on that level with people. And I'm sure just like the person who got all those phone calls, they like to talk about their brands. They like to tell the stories. And I feel like when you connect with people on that level, it's only helping everyone.
Yeah, and we visit breweries all over the state to do these podcasts. So I really enjoy getting to know the owners and the people that make the beer and really finding out more about what their story is, because beer really is about a story, right? There's enough commoditization of beer in this world that if your story can get out there, your chances of success just go up immensely.
You've got a good job, don't you?
It's something.
So for Ryan and Mitch, I've picked you all's brain just about Arizona beer, the challenges, the strategies of success, like just your daily lives. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to share about what's going on in the Arizona beer scene, or even just the Guild, or however you want to take it?
I'll let you guys go first.
Man, I don't know. You've covered a lot.
I'm trying to top, Andrew's podcast over there. So many topics in so little time. It's tough being the top pod.
Well, I'm heading out to DC on Monday. We have our annual hill climb with the Brewers Association. And we also have a Guild conference. So Tuesday, there's a leadership conference for brewery owners. And on Wednesday, we have our hill climb where we meet our legislators. Thursday, we're going to be going to a Guild conference where we all get together and talk about how to throw festivals and how to engage our board of directors and what legislative agendas are going on throughout the country. So, yeah, it's a really great time to get to see it. There's only 50 people in the country with a job like mine, and that it's nice to be able to see them in person and discover what their struggles are and share some solutions that we've all had. So I love it.
I'm sure you're going to have a great time in DC. And you're only like 3 hours from me. It's a shame you're so busy.
It's cold, and cold is terrible.
Hey, I'm
And
here in
I am
Virginia right
probably
now.
going
We've
to
got
die.
nearly 70-degree weather today. Granted, it's an outlier, but we've had a very nice spring day, almost spring day.
Groovy.
So as we wind down, I want to go in the opposite order as we started with. Andrew, we started with you, so you get to go last. Mitch, we're beginning with you on this one. So everyone listening here today, they're probably not in Arizona. They're probably in other states just curious about what you all are doing in the Arizona beer world. What do you hope people take away about Arizona beer? And Mitch, you have the honors of going first.
I appreciate that. I love the opportunity too, because I've worked a lot with Colorado beers, California beers, a couple Texas beers. And what I've seen is with all the transplants, the education that's coming along and how honestly fantastic our beer program really is in comparison. Obviously, we haven't had the namesake with it as Colorado and California has, but I think you'll find there is a beer for everybody at almost every brewery, and the skill of these brewers, the tasting points, there is something for everybody, and our beer has improved drastically over the last 10 years as a consumer. And I'd love to see anybody and everybody come out here for a Arizona destination beer. We are really a hidden gem. There's so many things to do, so many great beers to try. I'd love to see our network of beer expanded upon.
Well, I know I can't wait to visit, and conversations like this only make me want to more. And like I said, I've been to a lot of places, just not your wonderful state. Ryan, how about you? What do you hope people remember about Arizona beer?
Mitch covered a lot of it, but it's just one of those, like, we're very spread out, but there's always going to be a brewery near you. So, like, as people are coming for spring training games or coming to enjoy the weather, see family for holidays, nobody comes in the summer unless it's a cheap business conference because nobody wants to be here.
Is it that bad? Like, if I were to come in Arizona in August, is it going to be miserable or is it still a good time?
It's going to be 115 to 120 and muggy.
That's like the worst month.
You just go from your air-conditioned house or hotel into an air-conditioned car, into an air-conditioned brewery. It's fine. Feel free.
So I looked at your schedule. There's no outdoor beer festivals in August.
Auto start on your car is your best friend.
Well, what I really enjoy about Arizona beer is what Ryan said. Like, it's everywhere. Like I said, Bullhead City. We've got Whitten, Arizona. Like, there are 120 residents in this town, and there's a brewery. We've got Colorado City, which is in the northwest corner, and it's at least a 7-hour trip for me to get there because I have to go around that giant hole in the ground that they haven't put a bridge over yet. I don't know why. We've got we've got 3 breweries in Bisbee, Arizona. Tucson has 24 breweries. Flagstaff, where it's one of the snowiest cities in America. Like, it is all of the different things you could want to see. You go out to Lake Havasu and be on the Arizona Riviera, right? On our West Coast. And here in Phoenix, everyone thinks of Phoenix Metro. We obviously all live here, and we get to visit the breweries here more often than other breweries. There are breweries everywhere. So if you're going to Sedona to see the beauty of the Red Rocks, or anywhere you're going in Arizona, Concho, Arizona, White Mountains Brewing. I don't think there's even like 25 residents there, but it's beautiful out there. Pine Top. I mean, it's just a beautiful state, and we like to have beer everywhere.
Oh, awesome. It's been so fun learning more about what you all are doing. So, Andrew, from the Guild perspective, how can everybody check out what you're doing and find info on the podcast?
If you go to chooseazbrews.com, that has all the info there.
Awesome. And Ryan, for anyone curious, all the weird ingredients you're putting in at 8-Bit, where can they learn all about that?
So my website is a steaming pile of garbage because some dude hasn't updated it because he's been back there making beer. Best place for a lot of that is we are fairly active on social media. So Instagram, Facebook, even though those are definitely slowing down. Both of those are just 8-Bit Aleworks. We've got an app that puts a lot of it in, but the app is one of those, like, it's super useful if you're in the area, but if you're not in the area, it'll still show you what cool stuff I'm doing, but it's just going to piss you off at what you're missing.
I love that. And Mitch, if everyone wants to check out all the 80 beers you have on tap, where can they do that?
You can find us, of course, on Untapped, but also on our website, perryspizza.com/Avondale. It will have a list of every single beer in our profile.
Well, awesome. Well, Mitch, Ryan, and Andrew, this has been fun hanging out. I'll say it again. I need to come to Arizona. So thanks for hanging out with me today. This has been fun. I'll see you all eventually. Have a great one.
All right. Thanks.
See you,
Cheers, everybody. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this session, we'd love to see you in real life. We host in-person workshops across the country for craft beer professionals just like you that are held in some of the most exciting beer destinations around. These immersive events are designed to help you grow and connect with others. You'll meet peers from across the country and leave with actionable strategies for success. Connection has never been more important, and you can learn more at cbpconnects.com. Cheers. See you there.